Evening, gents. How we doing?
Yeah, well,
good,
a lot better than probably how you're feeling after a Manchester derby. You know, of course, you probably went into that game not expecting much, but are you disappointed in the fact that, you know, especially after scoring that goal, you just sat back?
Well, I'm not surprised we lost, Madge. I rang up last night, spoke to Goldbridge and said 4-5-0 we'll probably lose. So, okay, it wasn't that big scoreline.
No.
But, yeah, we've got a great start. Fantastic goal from Rashford. But then after, as you said, 15, 20 minutes, we just sort of just dropped off a bit and let City into it. And that was it, pretty much. I don't think we had a shot on target the rest of the game. We offered nothing going forward. We defended okay, but there was mistakes in there. But look, we lost 3-1. It could have been 4 or 5. Haaland missed an open goal, didn't he? And there was 1 or 2 other chances. But they're too good. It was like men against boys, really, especially the second half. We couldn't get the ball to them in the last half hour. They're just too good. They're like robots. They're just superb.
They are good, Lewis. But just to come back to a Manchester City caller that spoke earlier on, when Man United were Manchester City and you were that much better than them, and there was derby games and there was games that they would actually might have won, they were miles away from you guys. But it was just that heart and effort. I look at that Manchester United side, and I don't see any desire throughout that whole thing. Even, you know, Rashford scored that goal today, great goal. Him not coming off the back of that little sort of media thing he did this week with his own, I'm having my say. He said how much Manchester United means to him, etc. I just don't see that throughout the team. There's who's playing for the badge in the way that those players used to.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's not just the first time today we've sort of seen that. We've lost 15, 16 games this season in all competitions. Yeah. How many of those players would walk over hot coals for Erik ten Hag? I don't think hardly any.
And that, exactly. You're right in saying that, Lewis, because it's the manager. It all comes back down to the manager and the philosophy.
It does. I said that to Goldbridge last night. I've had enough of Ten Hag. It's been a terrible season. Bottom of the Champions League group. Yeah. We've lost 11 games in the league. We're miles off top 4. We're not going to get top 4. Everyone who thinks just because we win a couple of games like last month, United turned a corner. We're back in top 4 race. No, we're not. We're in Europa League race. That's about it. We've got teams behind us coming up on the rails now. We've lost back-to-back games. You knew these defeats were around the corner. You know, we win a few, but you knew we're going to lose some. And look, United are no good, right? It's for me, Ten Hag is not the man. He had done a decent season last year. He needs to go in the summer. We need to move on. It's not working out. The players need a big clear out. I know we're stuck with some of them because they've got big contracts. Yeah. But we need to. Ratcliffe really needs to change his squad up, you know, in the summer.
Lewis, you're in charge. You're in charge of Manchester United. Who do you want in?
What, as a manager?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I was saying to Goldbridge last night, I'd be looking at someone like Hansi Flick. If you want an experienced Champions League winning manager, Bayern Munich and ex-Germany manager, he's available. If you want to look at Emery, look at the job he's doing at Villa. Right? I reckon United should be approaching him. He might be tempted. Look at the job he's doing with Villa. It's amazing.
Brilliant.
You've got. There is options out there. There'll be some managers being sacked. I think at the end of this season, who we could look at as well, like Thomas Tuchel, for example. So there'll be options. I think Ten Hag, unless he pulls out the FA Cup or we get top 4, I think he's done. But United, no surprise today. City are too good, and we just have to plod on, don't we? You know.
Yeah, brilliant. Cool. Cheers, Lewis. If he wins the FA Cup and he gets another season, does that not just paper over the cracks, Pards?
I can't see him winning the FA Cup personally, but you know,
you're talking about Liverpool, haven't they?
You got a team, right, who have lost 11 games. They're -2 their goal difference. Man United -2 after 27 games. Like, forget everything else, right? That just doesn't add up, those stats. And you look at the team, right, and I'm looking at that team and I'm thinking, okay, if I was the manager next year, who would start for me in that team? Well, Onana, the goalie, okay, maybe. Dalot at right back, I think he's okay. Varane, no. Evans, no. Lindelof, no. Casemiro, no. Manu, definite, right? That young boy has done absolutely brilliant. McTominay, for me, I like him. Somewhere in that team, I think he's got to find a place. You've got to nail your flag to that kid, because you can't keep taking him out, putting him in, taking him out.
Because he is someone that will walk over the coals.
He's Man United through and through, that kid, right? And he doesn't really get the respect that he's deserved at that football club, in my opinion. Well, not that football club. That's unfair. Yeah. In terms of his starting stats, Fernandes, no. Rashford, for me, needs a different place. And the other boy, I'm not so sure about, but he's a young player and he might do better, Garnacho. So you might get something out of that. So you're talking about 4 players, right? And even that, McTominay might think, might not every week. As we're just saying, he might not be right, for that type of situation. So that's a huge turnaround of personnel. That's why Jim Ratcliffe and Brailsford are looking at Dan Ashworth, because they know they've got a huge, forget about the manager for a minute, there's a huge rebuild to be done here on the playing staff. You're going to have players that don't want to move because they like they like and comfortable in the area. Their wives are happy. The kids are at school. They're getting a huge wage packet. Where are they going to go? Is someone going to match the money? What deal? What loss are we going to take on these players? That's they're all really tough decisions for a new regime that is coming into that door, plus a new stadium build. Yeah. So there's been a lot of work to be done at that football club.
I had a message here on text us on 81089. Foden is overrated. His positional play isn't great. Someone's on a wind up.
Well, that's someone who don't know the game, because the kid's on fire and and literally can play free. You could say 4 stroke positions, really, because I think he can still play false number 9. Actually, Foden.
I think
so you give it 10. You can put him on the right. You can put him on the left. I mean, the left foot strike today. I mean, I've got to be honest. I didn't think his left foot was that powerful, actually, and he technically that good. It was a fantastic goal.
If anyone scored that with their normal foot, you'd think that was an absolute worldie. Yeah. With your other foot, oh wow. Don't forget, Manchester United's next Premier League game is live on talkSPORT as they take on Everton on Saturday at 12:30 with a certain Mr. Alan Pardew on commentary. Big weekend next weekend for Manchester United, because West Ham, they take on Burnley. They're only 2 points behind Manchester United. A West Ham at home to Burnley, and you're thinking that's a West Ham win.
That's a win, yeah, because they're all over the place.
And then Everton, who need the points, going to Old Trafford.
Yeah. Tough.
That's going to be.
And you know what Sean's like? Sean will be every set player beyond the money. So, there'll be a real test for Man United.
Absolutely.
But, he seems to have this great record, Ten Hag, against the lesser teams. He seems to get those wins. It's just when he comes up against the top teams, whether it's his setup or he's at the attitude of the changing room or something, doesn't seem to get the results that he needs, and he never blows away teams. Like 3-4-0. When's the last time that they did that 2 or 3 games running?
Yeah, we're going to continue that conversation, of course. Keep the voice notes coming in and your views on today's Manchester derby on the number 03717 223344. Don't forget to leave your number, and we could hear from you next on The Final Word here on talkSPORT.